Hi, Special Olympic athletes. This is Coach Linda from KC Metro, and I also have here Coach Jenny to help film the drills for our quarantine pickleball. Number one, you need a location. I chose to have my driveway. That's one place. I just needed half a court. As you can see, I taped it off. You can use chalk. You can use rags, you can use cones, anything that you have just to make marks at certain spots. Okay, here we go. So for the location, mine, it's right here on the driveway. You first have to know the measurements. So when we come up here, the net stands 3 feet high. You don't have to have tape all the way across. You can just do a couple spots. That's really all you need. So 3 feet for your net. Then we have this thing called the kitchen. It's right here. It's 7 feet back. And then it goes all the way across your court and 7 feet. This is an area you'll hear more about. You can't step in it unless the ball bounces. That's the kitchen. Now, the other thing is, it goes back all the way from the kitchen, 15 more feet, all the way back, and this is the court. The real width of the pickleball is 20 feet across, all the way, 20 feet across. And then there's also a line that I'm using, just our seam right here on the driveway. There's a seam there that will make it, so if we play doubles, we've got our two divided in half there. The problem I had was that it wasn't wide enough, my double doors. That's okay. I'm using this as my court. It doesn't matter that it's not a perfect pickleball court. It'll still work. Now, I was lucky I had my husband's tape measure. If you don't have a tape measure, use your feet. Just step it off. 1, 2, 3, because feet are close enough. It doesn't matter the size. It just matters that we get out there and practice. Before we move on to equipment, you may not have a driveway that works. You might be able to go to a court. If you have a court, I'll show you later the drills that you want to use there. But if you're using a tennis court, you still have to mark it off just like I showed you. The other thing that, if you don't have that, think about a side of a house. You can also think about the wall, basement wall of if you've got a basement with just a straight wall, it works. It doesn't have to be those dimensions. The next piece that we're going to is equipment. I do have a pickleball paddle. This is what it looks like. Most of you I know do not. What can you use instead? You can use a ping pong paddle. You can use any type of racket you have. If you don't have a racket, I've seen my daughter's skillet. She's got a real light skillet that she could even use it. If you don't have any of those, guess what? This hand will work. Just use your hand. The other thing is ball. For pickleball, we really use a wiffle ball. This is the true thing, what you're supposed to use. But many of you do not have that. Many of you have some type of foam ball. Like against the garage, this would work great. Okay, so now we're ready for the drills. Now we're going to start the basic skills. The one thing, if you're at your house, you want to go ahead and use the foam ball. It works so much better than your wiffle ball does against the garage, or even it would work better against the wall. We also want a slower game when you start, so this will make your game a little bit slower to start with.
All right, next we're going to talk about the position to be in. First, keep your feet shoulder width apart and keep your knees bent slightly. 2, keep your weight on the balls of your feet, not on your heels. 3rd, relax your shoulders and upper body. Keep your arms and the pickleball paddle out in front of your body and position slightly up.
This is also, if you've played tennis, a very similar stance that you would have in tennis. Okay, to start with though, as I said, we wanted a slow game. So you're going to be just up close here. Again, you always want to be in the ready position. After you hit it, you're going to get back into this position. And all we're going to do is try to let it bounce, hit it back. You want the ball to go just above the net line that you can see on the garage. So here we go. First thing, we're not going to do the service until the next session. That's a little bit more difficult, so I just want you to get used to this. But again, very similar if you've done tennis. Again, you might want to practice that where you're stepping up into the... Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to throw the ball at the garage, just right above there. Let it bounce once. See how many times, whoops, there I goofed. See how many times you can get it above the net. You don't want your ball to go clear above there. That's why really a garage works great. You don't want your ball way up there. Because if a ball's up there and you're actually playing, they're going to smash it. So I want you to practice that first. If you're on a court with another person, that person, all I want them to do, one is on one side, the other's on the other side of the net, I want them just to throw balls. First of all, just like at tennis, throw 5 to the right, throw 5 to the left, then mix it all up. But that's your first step in practicing, is to get that. Remember, you always want to try to get back to ready. So again, let's try that one more time again. And again, I'm just throwing the ball, or you can hit it anyway. I'll show you tomorrow again the service. Okay, but we're throwing it. Bounce. Let it bounce once. There I said I went too high on it. For competition, because we always got to have some competition when we're practicing. If there's 2 people, have a competition. See who can get the most hits. And again, like if you're here, we can have one person on one section, another person over here, and you just see who can last the longest. Sort of like King of the Hill. See who can get the most service. Okay, so I want you to start up close. And then, after you practice that for a while, let's take a step back. Again, see how many, whoops, there I goofed it up. So then I'm sitting here, I'm midway. Again, with the foam ball, it might, when I move back, I may need to go to the wiffle ball. So let's try that. If you don't have a wiffle ball, then you might also have to go ahead and not get this far back, because I think the wiffle ball will work much better back here. See, that one was too high. Again, you're going to have a lot of that if you're playing against the garage. Oh, there we go. No matter what, when you're playing this, you're going to be running after the ball. Great exercise. So even if you don't feel like you're being, not the best at it, remember, you're getting exercise by running. But again, keep it low. Gotta watch what you're hitting. So that is what I want you to practice the first day. Remember your set. Try to always get back to ready, because the better you're at that, the easier pickleball will become.